Hi, this is Neil Barnes from Leftfield, and you're listening to the Liverpool Connection Podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Liverpool Connection Podcast. I'm your host Daz. This is my music, football and more episodes, where we usually talk about music and football, but life in general as well. I cannot believe a year has gone by since I started this podcast. It's just a labour of love. I love listening to every single guest that I've had on, always a good story or two behind it. But this is my 1 year anniversary special edition episode. And I didn't even have to rack my brain with who I wanted. And I can't believe I still can't believe he's coming on to chat with me. It's Neil Barnes from Leftfield. And I just found out he is a footy supporter. He's a West Ham. He's a hammer. So I guess we're going to talk about how miserable they've made him feel after only 4 games this season. But Neil, welcome to the podcast, mate. It's an absolute honour and a pleasure to have you on. Leftism, for me, is in my top 5 albums of all time. And this is including The Clash, The Jam, Massive Attack and Underworld, and not in that order. I won't say an order, but you're Leftism.
I've never heard of them. No, it's lovely to be here, mate.
It's just one of.
Thank you for asking me. It's a pleasure to. It's often a pleasure to talk about music. Not always, but with I'm looking forward to
in the right context, because I know a lot of like DJs and musicians always kind of get asked the same questions over and over again. It's like a revolving door. So, I'd like to think, that this podcast opens up a little bit more of, being able to talk about different things. And obviously football's one of them. So I'm going to go back and let's start with football, might as well. Who is your childhood footballing hero?
Clive Best. Without a doubt. I mean, Clive Best. I mean, I sort of fell in love. I mean, I should be an Arsenal supporter because my family are all Arsenal supporters. And I grew up in North London, in Gospel Oaks. So, I mean, I grew up in the hotbed of Arsenal territory. My dad was an Arsenal supporter. And the great Arsenal teams, Charlie George and all those. I mean, they were an amazing team. But I mean, I think it was seeing that West Ham I remember watching Match of the Day, a grainy Match of the Day, and seeing this sort of really exciting West Ham team, and seeing Clive Best, who was a black footballer, and I could, it was, it felt like that I was being drawn away from the whole Arsenal thing, and that time towards something that was really sort of special. I mean, they were excited. That West Ham team of the sort of late 70s and early 80s were exciting, attractive, great, brilliant team, and wonderful at losing. We were great at losing, which just seemed to have been something that, as a West Ham supporter, I've got fairly used to. But yeah, Clive Best is, I'd say Clive Best. And for all people that don't know anything about Clive Best, I do, do some reading on him and some reading about that team. Those early early players from ethnic backgrounds had to put up with was abominable. Racism and general just things that actually were quite current in our culture then, and happily largely have disappeared, although as we all know, it's all come back with a disastrous, terrible bites recently. But I mean, I just thought there was something sort of so beautiful about him as a player as well, just talking about his graceful, powerful footballer. And it just drew me in. And after that time, I was a hammer. I mean, I was always I was a hammer. You know, it's those type of things that attract you, those little things that you see that make you a supporter. I mean, a lot of people call me. I mean, all my Gooner mates just say I'm an absolute traitor, and like growing up in North London and being a North, I'm going to get my cat jumping on me now. Hopefully she doesn't turn anything off. She's a hammer as well, aren't you? Yeah. Oh, oh, here she goes. Look. Here we go. At home with Neil and Engine Cat. That's her name.
Well, but I think that's the thing, though. You've got to have your own identity, especially when you're younger. Some of my mates were Evertonians, and I'm glad
Okay.
I never went down that path. Um, but yeah, I mean, my dad loved rugby. My granddad, my other granddad was more cricket, but it was my granddad that took me to my first match. So to Anfield, and
Wow, memories, eh?
yeah, yeah.
Special moments.
Yeah,
That's
six 6 years old in the cop.
yeah. What an incredible. That must have been an incredible experience for you.
Yeah, and it was more what was going around in 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 the stadium than it was on the pitch back then.
Yeah.
I was a people watcher, but it was like the smells, even the piss smell.
The smell of
Yeah,
rank
just
piss.
stale piss just brought it back. But the smell of the grass, well, there
Yeah.
wasn't much grass on pitches back in like the 70s.
No, it was mud.
Yeah.
About mud, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, I don't even think that today's modern footballer could ever play on those pitches.
no way. And it also vice versa. It would be so interesting to see some of those teams from that we watched, that we grew up with, playing on the pitches that all these guys play on now, which are like, it's like a cricket pitch, basically, isn't it? We're talking about, it'd be so, I mean, because they would have been great players today. They're just great athletes.
Yeah, and hard as nails back then as well. Not rolling on the
Oh,
floor 20 times. And
terrifying.
I'm still trying to track down and figure out what was in the magic bucket, because it used. I mean,
The
that
sponge,
that sponge.
magic sponge.
What was in that sponge? Because it could help.
I always
Fix
thought that
broken legs.
must have been drugs. There
Yeah.
must have been something in there. Yeah, the sponge, the magic sponge they used to call it, didn't they? That used to run
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think like, some of those footballers back in the day, especially the ones that are actually still alive, have got to be shaking their head at some of the players today, just going,
Yeah,
get up, off.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with you. I was speaking with Neil off camera, and about 10 years ago, I fell out of love with football for a bit because of the money situation, because of the greed, because the men upstairs in suits all run the Premier League.
yeah,
And that's what it is. It's just greed. And then, you've got your top six who seem to be able to do whatever they want, and the rest
yeah,
of the league kind of,
yeah.
it's just a divide.
It's like that. It draws everyone into it, and actually, then that you can make a real analogy there with what's happening in music, especially with festivals at the moment, and fees and things like that. I mean, festivals largely are being taken over by large investment companies, and it's changing the whole face of music, basically. And also, you can talk about fees, DJ fees, which are going through the roof in some places, like in Ibiza and places like that, sucking all the money out of the scene, and having these really, really unreasonable, ridiculous fees for DJ sets, which are insane. And it's you know it can't be sustained. It can't sustain itself like that. And also we were talking off camera, I think, about Mucky Weekender, my mate Barry Ashworth, who and that's the other side. I mean, that's Mucky Weekender, which is an awesome festival that I actually DJ'd at on Friday night this weekend. Again, that's like that's it's like Division One. It's versus the Premiership. It's like and it still feels real. A proper festival run by a very small group of people. Like still connected with the culture and fun, and like where we all the reason we all got into music, was to be part of that type of thing. Something that was real, connected with our culture. And sometimes, I mean, I like to think that I keep left field, I keep left field as a live act and everything like that. We've got our feet on the ground and everything. But, some of the things that are happening, some of the festival, what's happening to some of the festivals and the way festivals having to go to survive is ridiculous, and it's not becoming about music. The music is dying often. And I don't know. It's not a good thing, really.
Well, I mean, like the music part, it's like I'd never heard the word brand, and that's what I mean. A DJ has to they're a brand now because they're a commodity for,
Yeah,
for somebody for a business to
yeah,
shove out there, and make money for them. And kind of football's the same. I mean, like I used to go to, a lot of away days, and Upton Park was one of my favorite ones because it was like Highbury as well because it's so close to the pitch. How do
yeah,
you
yeah,
feel
yeah.
now that I
Yeah,
mean, I'm still glad we're FSG built Anfield up because
yeah.
the
And
history's still there. But when
yeah, yeah, you can
now,
really feel the atmosphere. I mean, basically, I mean, and the Arsenal ground, the Emirates has still got the Emirates is still feels like a cauldron, doesn't it? Even though it's a money place and it's an enormous stadium, they managed to keep and our stadium it doesn't. I mean, it's much better over the last 3 years. It's massively improved, and but we're just all used to sitting so far away now, and we, yeah, it used to be a cauldron. I mean, Upton Park was a special environment. It really was, and an element that's gone. There's no doubt. But I mean, I just think we're just used to it. I mean, and there's 55,000, 55,000 people in that stadium. And actually, I think in terms of numbers, I think West Ham, I'm not trying to, a massively supported club where we get an enormous attendance. You can look the numbers up. I was surprised. I had no idea. I mean, something like, even though it's regular attendance, that stadium is full every week, every other week, which so people, people make the best. It's like life, but life goes on. People make, the change comes, good and bad. I mean, there are good things about it as well. I mean, there's definitely, the big screens. You just have to have them in the stadium like that. I mean, you just have to, because you're so far. You're so far from the, seeing the actual, especially with my eyesight. I'm very grateful to the for the big screen.
well, it's become. I mean, when I used to go, it was a game, that I have passion for. Now it's considered entertainment,
Yeah,
and some of the
yeah.
stuff that's coming in, they want to do halftime like managerial chats. They want to do talk to the substitute that just got subbed off. Like I don't
Mental.
understand
Yeah.
what's going on. It's
No,
too much
no,
American
no.
football
It
stuff.
is. I think that's the aim. That's really what they're all trying to do. Again, going back to what you said about making money. And maybe they don't have an option, because I mean, maybe there isn't an option because of the balance of things is so extraordinary now. Wages are through the roof. So, you know,
Well, I mean,
I mean, it's like ticket prices for actually someone told me something really amazing today. You can change it. I basically I'm not going to do it, but I was offered the opportunity to go and see Oasis recently, but I had to buy tickets. I looked at the prices of the tickets. I mean, I know everyone knows this, and I know, and this was good. This was a good price, £190 for guest list tickets. That's the basic. That's what the basic ticket is. 109. That was before we put on the tax. Now, when I looked at the actual prices of tickets, they were all around £600. And I was talking to a mate about this, and this is what think is this type of greed, which is destroying music, which is everywhere. And I was saying it's so depressing. And he said to me, "Do you know what the Cure do?" And I said, What do the Cure do? They don't charge ever a ticket more than £35, and they fill stadiums, and they do not. It's all tickets are 35 quid and under, around 35 quid. I think it might be standard. I don't. That's So you can do it differently. You can, you know.
I mean, Pearl Jam were the same. They were like, they won't go over a certain price. They won't deal with Ticketmaster. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
people have tried to take a stand, but we all know, that the big companies are the ones that run everything, and they buy the little companies up.
which is what's happening in with festivals.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
what's happening.
it's just sad. It's sad to see.
Yeah,
I mean, all we can hope for is like, 5, 10 years from now, people will just realize like, I've had enough. I'm not going to pay that much for a festival. I'm not going to pay that much to see a DJ. I'm not going
yeah,
to pay that. But there'll always be somebody else who's willing to. That's the thing.
yeah. Step in. At the moment, there is.
Yeah. I mean, especially like in the States, there's a massive football contingent over here now, with the MLS. But a lot of these people, they save up money to travel to Anfield,
Yeah,
um, and pay exuberant hospitality prices, which,
yeah,
because they want to make sure that they get a
yeah,
ticket. But it's the flights, the hotels,
yeah,
everything. The club shop. I mean, that's what most of these football clubs want you to do, is spend money in the club shop.
yeah,
That's their money right there, your bread and butter and stuff. But yeah, it's just becoming harder and harder to just try and get tickets these days. I mean, especially for locals,
yeah,
because that's just the way it is. They're like gold dust. I'm glad I'm on family and friends list.
yeah,
Whenever I'm over, it's usually like, yeah, just let me know and I'll sort you. So that's good. But for everyone else, it's like you're on this waiting list that you'll never get a ticket.
yeah.
So you got to go to the
You've
third
got it.
party, and
Yeah,
you've got to fingers crossed, toes crossed that it's going to work. And a lot
yeah,
of people are scammed, and it's just a sad state.
yeah. It
Uh,
is.
But what's been one of your favorite West Ham matches?
Oh my God. Talk about.
I know it wasn't 2006.
Oh my God. Oh, I can't, there's been so many wonderful nearly moments. I'm trying to think of one that comes to mind, but there are so many. We had some good ones. Oh, there was a good one last year, wasn't there? Come on, mate. It's hard for me to think about any good ones at the moment. Sorry to say. Well, I remember when we won the FA Cup. That was many moons ago. I think that might be my favourite moment. I like the nearly moments. I like all them when we nearly do it and then we don't. I like kind of, that's the problem with us West Ham supporters. I think we might be the best at losing. we're the best. I think we're the best managed. You can hear everyone talking. Oh well, that's another one gone, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Well, that type of attitude. We,
It's one where like you're in school, right? And they used to give the ribbons,
yeah,
and they give you the one for trying, the
yeah. That's it.
a light blue
Yeah.
one. There
The
you.
many, so my answer would be at the many moments when we tried, the many moments when we tried to win, and we were so close.
That's football, though, isn't it, Neil? Though I mean, Liverpool, yeah, we've won a lot, but we've also lost quite a bit. I mean, like losing to Madrid and Kiev in the
Oh God, yeah, yeah,
but that was tough. It's just one of those. That's football. You get the highs, you get the lows. I mean, the 2000s for Liverpool weren't very good. The Souness years, then the Roy Hodgson just wasn't very good. And now we've had Klopp and now Slot, and it's one of the golden years for me for a Liverpool supporter because United used to win it all. And
I
United
know.
are
Yeah, yeah.
terrible, and I'm loving it. I'm taking it in
Bet
every
you are.
single minute. I'm just well, I because that's it. It's banter, isn't it? Good banter,
Bet
not
you
this not this horrible stuff that some of these people come out with, but good banter is just like
Yeah,
you win some, you lose some. You've had your turn. It's just like fashion. It goes
yeah, yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah.
Apart from West Ham, it just keeps going around and doesn't stop.
Oh,
But you can always treasure those nearly moments, Neil.
I'm loving it.
You've got
I
those
love the
pictures of
nearly moments.
yeah, you got all those pictures of we nearly scored a goal.
Mm. We nearly won.
Yeah, you can always take that to heart and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Let's get on to music.
Mm.
I want to go back a young Neil. What was playing in your household, and did it
You
have
know what?
an influence on you?
What was playing on my household was mainly played by me, really, because my parents were basically weren't particularly into music, definitely weren't into modern music. So I discovered everything myself. It was me discovering uh, punk rock and new wave and reggae, really, from just going to the record shop, just going to the local record shop in Muswell Hill, and then you know, getting influenced by bands like Joy Division and you know Lee Perry and people like that at an early age. I mean, I do remember my sister playing Downtime, Petula Clark in my house. That was pretty awesome. I do remember that and hearing loads of you know, and also, I mean, when I was young and really growing up, the only thing we had was Top of the Pops, and people take the piss out of it. But I mean, in actual fact, discovered some amazing music and bands like T Rex and things like that. I first heard on Top of the Pops. I was so little, and in fact, I think the first record I ever bought was 20th Century Boy by T Rex, which I still absolutely adore as I think it was originality. I was already turned on people being different and trying to do things their own way in the pre-internet age. The pre you know, it's really interesting. It's something I've been thinking quite a lot about. Could you have a Bob Marley these days? Could you have a David Bowie these days? Because could you have the specials? Could you have Joy Division? Could you have all these things that grew up in their own little environment, like Leftfield did, in its own little special little place where it had time to grow before it was exposed to the world? These days, again, I don't want to get me grumpy old man because there's some good things about the internet, obviously, but I mean, it's harder for bands to emerge and to hone their craft without getting exposed too early to and people. I mean, like the ska revolution, which came out of places mainly like Birmingham, really, which is so influenced by local reggae and by the ska scene, the early 60s reggae scene as well. It was such a little pocket of magic, and all of that I was exposed to, at an early age.
Yeah, I think for me, I was a mod early on, but again, that exposed me to dub and reggae because I was hearing something different than, like the early jam and then the specials, and I
Yeah,
wanted to hear more, and I was like, where is this coming from? And then I started, to my sister, she was more like synth pop,
yeah, which
which
okay,
still, had a big influence on me
me
with
too.
New Order, Depeche Mode. I'd never really heard stuff like that, and I started to hear stuff coming from her room with her little record player, and I started stealing her, little 45s.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bought a turntable for myself, and then she'd be like, "Hey, isn't that sounds like some of my stuff?" It's like it is all your stuff, mixed in with, and that's the thing. Like, I think today we're oversaturated with music.
It's difficult to get away from it.
Yeah, and I feel that a lot of good
Yeah,
music is thrown
yeah,
away,
yeah,
just because it's not on TikTok or doesn't go viral. We're just, I mean, you go on
yeah.
Beatport and there's thousands upon thousands of records released every single day.
Like I
But
get,
this
I
good
get
stuff
sent.
gets lost.
Yeah, I get sent. I get sent hundreds. I'd say I get hundreds of promos each week. Hundreds. I mean, there's so many. It's not physically possible for me to listen to them all. And you're right. The amount of especially electronic music, the amount of electronic music that is actually comes out on a daily basis is phenomenal, and it swamps. We are swamped. When I find a good record, I'm like, oh my god, I like. It's like, wow, wow, that's fresh, But I've waded through so much to find it, like it's you know it's not great. I mean, we used to, we used to think maybe it'd be a good thing if everyone had the ability to make music. Like, we used to think, well, I suppose it, to some degree it's good, but I mean, it's like it's so generic, a lot of things at the moment. It's like, especially, I mean, not just all music is often, and there's brilliant stuff out there. There is really, really, but I mean, it's so hard to discover. I mean, it was always hard finding good music, and there was crap in the 70s and the 80s. I mean, my God, every era has been full of bad music and bad art. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I mean, you always had to find and search and crate dig. I mean, that's part of the, but it just at the moment it's just like you say, it's the sheer amount of it. I mean, it's gone up. I've noticed it go up and up and up and up from really good, reliable people that I might be getting music from. Where I would have been getting five things a week. Now it's 25 or 30. And of course, how can they all be, you know, it's impossible. And but amongst it, there are the odd little bits of things that you go, oh, okay, that's pretty good. That's quite, but we still got things like Radio 6, which is sort of playing good music. I mean, but it's like, yeah, it's tough. It's very tough for people to think about music as a career these days.
Well, I mean, who has, I mean, back in the day when I was 17, 18, I had
Hey, yeah, maybe,
hours and hours of the day
yeah,
to go down to the record shop and
yeah.
sift through, a load of crap before I got the diamond I was looking for that sounded nothing like anything else. But now I don't have 4 or 5 hours a week to listen to stuff on Beatport, Track Source or Juno. I just don't. I like to go on Bandcamp because I like to
Me
go
too.
down the rabbit hole, you
Me
know.
too.
And if I do find a label or an artist, I'll write it down and then I'll
Yeah.
check what they've got. That's how I find music these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just inundated with like so much stuff that I just, I feel for the artists that who are getting
Yeah.
lost. They've put their heart and soul into it, and it's just not getting the backing. I mean, like, I've heard the story of like leftism was
Yeah.
organically grown. You didn't have really the backing of Colombia, so that's another thing. Like, I do you feel like?
Well, that's not. Wait, say that again. We didn't have the backing of Colombia.
Well,
Uh,
I'm saying like
yeah.
a big campaign.
No. Oh, you mean after it was made?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it grew. I have to say it. Yeah, no, no, it did grow in a very organic way. I mean, we did have a major record label. Columbia were a major record label, but it grew in such an organic way. Leftism and the preparation. There was so much prep in all the remixes we did beforehand over the years. But yeah, that it grew exponentially. It was quite extraordinary. No one expected, least of all us, expected anything much of it actually after we finished it because that's we were on to doing the next thing, and we were incredibly, yeah, we were surprised by what leftism has became really, and yeah, although Colombia were very good, they were really good. I mean, again, that's one of the misnomers. People used to go on about the evil big record company. I got worst experiences with small record, with small record labels, and actually Colombia were actually really, really decent. And particularly people like Mick Clark, who was our A&R man, who's sadly passed. Oh, there she goes again. Um, because they supported us and let us do our own thing. Actually, I mean, wouldn't we used to have, famously that you see history, the old A&R bass drum. You know what the A&R bass drum slider? You know about that?
Hmm.
Do you know what that is? We used to use it. We did use the A&R bass drum slider now and again, which is a beautiful thing. Especially when if you're doing advert music and you're getting moaned at by the, can you turn the bass drum? We want more bass at that. So well, there you go. There's a slider over there, which had nothing on it. Just turn it, just move it to wherever you like the bass drum to be. You know, we, you know, Oh yeah, all right, okay. And so sort of like we just sit back and just watch the old bass drum slider. No, that's a beauty. Oh yeah, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, that's really good. You've got, yeah, it definitely sounds better now. Yeah, yeah, you got it.
It's like, the Spinal Tap moment, 10
Oh,
to
Spinal
11,
Tap.
you know. Yeah,
There's a there's a new Spinal Tap film coming out, isn't
yeah.
there?
Why?
Well, it better be good. It better be absolute. It's already ticking my boxes because I'm loving the way they're advertising it. It's like it's good. The reunion, isn't it, or something like that? Isn't it the reunion of mine, the 20 years later, and they're all in it, aren't
Yeah.
they? I mean, it's well, yeah, yeah. We had so many of them moments, wonderful Spinal Tap moments, actually.
Well, let me ask you this then,
Yeah,
because, as we're talking about, things falling through the musical crack,
yeah,
it, because, we kind of seem to live in this society where, things have to take off really quickly. Do you,
yeah.
if leftism was released today, would it fare just as well?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. No, don't think so. I don't think it would. Yeah, I mean, the mixed genre, it doesn't tick the boxes of where would Ray. I mean, we had issues with it anyway. I mean, in terms of radio, I mean, it changed. Leftism did change attitudes towards music. I mean, we amazing things happened when we would do it after that record, actually, in terms of what some of the experiences we had. But no, I don't think it would. No, I don't think it would. I think it would be very difficult. It's a fascinating question, but because of the nature of its diversity, I think it's hard would be hard to place it into the product place that things need to be to be marketed to sell in a certain direction. Maybe I don't know, be an interesting one. Maybe I'm being unfair, but I mean, it was amazing that it did. I can only say that it was amazing that it's done what it's done, and it's had the effects on people. And I'm always blown away by meeting people. Just people. I mean, I met this weekend. I had two gigs this weekend, which were so exciting, and I got a really amazing text from someone, and I never normally talk, and it's a really long message talking about seeing us live 15 years ago, and someone that's now was there with them, and how leftism had been on their journey of their life, and you know, I was like, I'm always so touched that, I mean, I'm sure Paul is as well. I mean, I'm sure exactly the same thing that, how can you not be that we had that opportunity to, and the music means that record means so much to so many people. I suppose yeah, I know that wasn't your question, but, you know, the experience is so real, it's still so real for me.
Well, I mean, anybody that says nice things,
Oh,
is
come on. Isn't
good.
it great? Isn't it lovely? I mean, it's not hard to say nice shit, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we need in this world. I mean, yeah, the record is comes. It was a hard job to make. It was a tough. All the music that Leftfield ever made is a struggle. There's a struggle in the studio, and things nearly got lost all the way along the road of the road. Each track, the journeys that they went on was quite incredible, actually. And we, I think we were so cut. Like I said earlier on, we weren't. Although we were listening to tons of other music, and there were, we kind of were cut off as well. We were cut off and we experimented. And then there was no one in the studio telling it. Like I said, I was joking about the A&R. We didn't really have anyone saying to us anything, and we just didn't listen anyway. We just didn't listen because that's the answer. I mean, that's how to do it. And I'm not saying I can do it now, but the way if you want to make music, my advice is firstly try and fail, make failure your, and kind of like, it's kind of important to have that in your mind that you're not trying to be successful. You're just, it's about expressing something. It's about, expression is where it starts. It has to start with this. If you want to, and secondly, just don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to any of that. But I don't know how many back these days, whether you can get that opportunity. Just if you as soon as you start listening to people, then you start to doubt things, and it's in that doubt and comes but then things can rapidly change. And I was very fortunate working with Paul, for that reason, very fortunate that he was, particularly driven to believe in him, in his vision, and that affected me. And we both were fairly arrogant, probably, It comes across as arrogance, doesn't it? I mean, but it comes across maybe, but it's not. It's just trying to get it right to what you think is the way it should be. You know, and that's the reason the album is what it is. I mean, there were some. No, I can't even. I can't. Some of the things that nearly happened to it. Um, you can lose things like you can in life, can't you? Something can be so close and you can lose it. It can disappear through your fingers. And it's that chance that you're taking. That you have to be willing to lose stuff. Yeah, you have to be and let to get there.
Yeah,
You have to lose your ego. And that's what you you can't hang on to shit that you like because you have to be willing to say, "Ah, you're right, that's shit, isn't it? Yeah, that bit's shit. It is shit." You know, to make it grow, to make it um get there.
but you've also got to be, outside influence can hurt as well.
Absolutely. You've
Some
got
of
to
the,
be
like I surround myself with good mates that I can count on that aren't going to, tell me, yeah, Dazza, that episode is absolutely brilliant, when I damn well know it wasn't. I don't
Yeah,
need those kind of people in my life. And there's too many people like that. What can they get out of you? You know, kind of my next question was, a lot of bands, if they do have like a semi-successful album,
yeah.
a lot of the record company execs are like, yeah, make your second album just like
Oh,
that.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
you're like, well, no, I wanted to go off in a different. No,
yeah,
you stick to the formula,
yeah,
or you can fuck off
yeah. Well,
and you
that's
get dropped.
yeah. Well, we had that pressure. Second album, and yeah. Well, we had that pressure on Rhythm and Stealth. We had that pressure. I mean, we really did feel the pressure of success, and it's above its success, and exactly that. And the journey of that album was a very different journey. It broke us up as a duo eventually because no one could sustain. It was very hard to, but we came up. What came out was something radically different, but still such a great. I personally think it's a wicked album, Rhythm and Stealth. And I think a lot of people do. It had amazing moments in it. But yeah, we battled against pressure. We had pressure on us. The record company, we were taken into the record for a drumming down about the amount of money we were spending. I mean, how many years it was taking. And both of us had breakdowns, I think, at various points in it. It was, the pressure to create leftism number two or but we in our head we were I think we were just trying to go you know do exactly the same thing again but in a different way. That's all we thought we were doing. We didn't know you never know what you're doing. Oh my god, the great moment, podcast moment. My cat's just turned the television on. Did you hear that? She's literally just turned the television on. I mean,
That's a smart cat.
what a household we live in.
That Neil,
Oh,
that might have more views than the actual
I
conversation.
reckon it will.
A cat turns on the telly,
Look,
million
do you want
views.
do you want to see? Look, I mean, you got this is a great moment. Look, I can prove it to you. Look, can you see her?
Yeah.
What a curve,
I
yeah.
wonder what she's going to watch.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. What you gonna put on? No, I'm not sure she knows. She's not too sure.
FA Cup final 2006.
Yes. No, definitely not. That goal. That
Oh,
goal.
well, come on.
It was so close.
Paul
I was
can
in a
chest
pub
you.
with my mates. What I didn't get, I was watching it, and when that goal went in, That goal, that sort of like broke my heart. It was a
Well, come
great
on,
goal.
Paul Konchesky's cross goal, and then what's his name doing his little jig.
All right.
Yeah, I thought once that went in, I was like, West Ham's winning this. But then we have Stevie G. That was the difference in it. But yeah,
Yeah, all right. All right.
yeah,
All
we've
right.
we've had some moments, but no, I mean, it's got to break you. I've spoken to so many DJs and producers you know on this podcast, and they kind of it's all the same thing. Is like when you have, like I said, a hit, and you're getting told to do the same thing, and
Yeah.
you're an artist. That music is your art. You shouldn't have
Yeah.
and no one telling you what you should be doing.
Yeah.
I get, somebody coming in the studio and just going, yeah, you might need to tweak that or tweak this, but it was down to you and Paul, and I can't imagine the pressures that you feel. I mean, people just think like musicians and footballers are superhuman. They
Yeah.
really do. They're just like, you
They
have
don't have feelings as well. They don't have feelings, and they don't, because yeah, I mean, and then they can churn it out, just churn out the goals, churn out. People just don't understand. I said that's what fans sometimes. I just can't. I can't be one of those fans. You see, that screams at players because I know what it feels like from the other side. I just that's why I don't. I take a success and defeat and success is in the same. If you really if you can be level-headed about both, it's the best feeling. I mean, I've got an example for that. I mean, I'm a massive cricket fan, so I was at the game at the Oval when we won the Ashes off the Australians for the first time for 18 years or something. I mean, basically, it was an extraordinarily amazing achievement, like it was. And I was sat there with all loads of dotted around with proper cricket fans, like that. And all the idiots in the place, all the bloody bankers, they were chucking fruits at the Australian players, and they were behaving like assholes because they just won. And that all the other people, all the proper fans, just quietly got up and went left. They were happy. We beaten the Australians. I was there for 5 days actually. I saw the whole Test match, and I haven't done that for a long time with cricket because cricket, like football, has changed. It's not the same thing. It used to be a game that actually had a lot of working class players, and it's gone. It's all about the private schools now and stuff like that. But basically, that wasn't what I was going to say. But I mean, the real fans and the real people understand what it means about success and failure. There's not much between them, and you need to have the magnanimity, to accept both. And if you can do that, then to me, you're a fan. That's what being a proper fan is. And it's definitely better for your health. I can say that. You know, and I've
well,
had that attitude towards a lot of things. I mean, towards my own career, and I'm luckily had so many amazing moments, and some not so amazing things have happened. But it's part of the journey, and I take them. I like to keep them as I like to feel like that about my arts, about what I do.
do you enjoy DJing more than you do the live?
No,
No.
no, I love DJing. I love DJing. In fact, a lot of times, they are both for me completely different things. I mean, they're both. I mean, at the end of the day, there is entertainment issue. That's what we're doing, and that's a similarity. I mean, I don't. I feel that even though when I do a left field DJ set, I hardly ever play much left field. I don't think that's what I should be doing. I mean, why? You know, Leftfield. If you want to see Leftfield, go and see Leftfield play. What Leftfield DJ, why it's a still Leftfield DJ. So it's because it's about trying to represent the best that I like in electronic music. That's what I'm there. If I'm just going to play my own stuff, even if I think it's bull, I think it's just I don't know. I can't. It's just so against what I always, me and Paul, I mean, I still take that. What Paul would, a good record is a good record. I haven't played remix, and I do play left field tracks now and again. If it works, if it's going to work, Y- you know, um, yeah, I mean, it's just about the last gig for me, whatever it is, in terms of it might be a DJ gig or a left field gig. You know, I'm so lucky to be doing them. I get that vibe of the audience, the love and the vibe and stuff like that. I'm very sensitive. I mean, I find DJing harder. I mean, I'll be scanning the crowd, and if there's one person that's got his head down or looking at the clock, his watch, I'm destroyed. I'm often thinking, oh my God, what I'm fucked up. I've got to change it immediately. Oh dear. What about, and sometimes I do play. I have played quite a lot of sets to the audience, and it's always I don't like it. I like going on journeys for my DJing, and sometimes I've had people standing there, like because I'm not playing in left field, literally standing in front of me, and other people are all dancing, and they're just standing there looking at me like that. I mean, like like, yeah, what? Yeah, no, I'm not playing open up. No, can you live? Listen, look at the people around you. They're dancing. They're dancing to something new, and that's how I think how it should. So I enjoy it for those reasons because I like playing young producers, new producers. That's what I try and do. And I also try and get those people DJing at my left field gigs. I mean, on Saturday I played at absolutely amazing new club in Bristol called Document. I'm going to advertise this place. This is one of the best venues I've I could almost say that I've ever played at. Basically, it has the best sound system that this year. Well, that I've played at for a long time, and I had Hodge DJing first from Bristol, who just playing Bristol production, awesome. And then I had Paranoid London playing before us, and the crowd who were Leftfield fans. At first they're all looking at each other. By the end, Quinn Adam, they were jumping up and down. I mean, I have to say they were screaming, they were going mental. And then Leftfield, and then we played, and the whole thing felt. I was actually really proud of the night. I was really proud that we achieved that. I don't often get, often I fit in the next night I was playing with Orbital. On Saturday night, I played with Orbital, which was wonderful because, I love Phil. So it's like for me, that's also a pleasure. But Saturday night, wow, I was, and it made me, so that was a live experience. So with both DJing and I wasn't DJing, but I digress probably because I've had a long weekend. But yeah, I feel very fortunate but yeah, going back to your original question, that I don't prefer either. You know, when I have a bad DJ gig, I go, oh, Jesus Christ, I should give this up at my age. I'm useless. Everyone's much better than me. And I do the same when I think with left field, when I make mistakes with playing live, I think, oh God, Jesus, that was shit. And then everyone comes off going, oh, wow, that was a great gig, wasn't it? I go, oh, okay.
Yeah, but when you're DJing or when you're playing live, though, you know, people are in such a state or having a good time that they don't
Yeah.
really hear some of the mistakes that are made
Nah,
that
we
you
love it.
will, that you
We
will.
like, yeah. I mean, I was talking about Adam Wren, who's a central part of the band now, at Leftfield, and did the last two records with. Well, actually, I mean, actually, I want to talk about Adam. Adam's been involved since the beginning. actually. But he's alive on stage. I mean, Adam said we know we're semi live, and we're not completely live. It's impossible, but we make so many mistakes. He says, that we are live. When I'm trying to play a keyboard line and I'm out of time, and he's grinning at me. It's like really funny. Or I forget, like we play swords. I play swords at the moment, which I'm loving playing. There's one line that I forgot to play actually at Bristol. It just went out my head, and there was this big gap, and it was obvious. And everyone was looking, and I was like, oh, I've missed my moment. And then Earl missed his cue because I'd missed my moment. So, you know, it was like tumbling down the hill, but I was laughing about it, because it's part of the experience of, you know, it's horrible when you do it when you're DJing, though. It's horrible when you get, you're out of time or something, you're messy. But like you say, people are there, people are in a different state and I, view things in a completely different way to the person performing,
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the best things I've seen lately is Underworld on Boiler Room.
Oh yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
not particularly a fan
yeah,
of Boiler Room. I was in the beginning, but then it went up its own arse. And they were just bringing DJs on who obviously
yeah.
can't really DJ, just had a following. But Underworld brought it back, and it was just
Oh,
so
good.
good
Was
to,
it good?
yeah, it was really
I
good.
think I might have seen so. It's a good thing for them to do. Yeah,
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 you just
yeah,
saw
yeah,
the how much it meant to them because it was in London, and just the passion that just comes from those two just was
yeah,
made.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
3,000
yeah,
miles away watching it on YouTube, and I'm smiling away like I'm a
yeah,
16-year-old seeing Underworld for the first time again.
yeah,
And that's what music makes me feel.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it
yeah,
makes me feel of the time. It makes me like music has to move me emotionally, whether good or sad.
yeah,
That's just what I like of it, and it has to have soul,
yeah,
heart and soul.
yeah.
And that's how I feel. I'll always go back to it. That's what I feel. You know, yourself and Paul have done. It's a testament how it
No, that's very
still.
kind of you to say. I mean, I really appreciate things like that, and I agree. That's what motivates me. It's soul in the music,
And
you know,
that bass slider.
and that bass slider. Absolutely. That's a great moment, isn't it? The other one is when someone leans and when you put in the old days when people used to put mixes down, and by accident someone would sit on the desk, the band sitting on the desk, and that the mix. There's a famous example of some band. Who is it? Oh God, which track is it? There's a punk band that did it, and they left the bass line off, and I forgot the name of the track because someone sat on the bass, muted the bass, and no one listened to it before it got released, and it became a hit. And I can't remember who it was. It's gone.
Hey, famous
Come to
accidents.
me.
But I mean, it's just the production wise as well. All I feel Leftfield tracks, the production is just spot on. Whether I know sometimes there's happy accidents in a studio
Yeah,
where
yeah.
just like you'll work on the track, it's just not sounding the way it's supposed to. You
Mm.
get pissed off, you go home or you go to the pub, usually the pub, and then you come back and something's just changed, and
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't touch anything. Why
yeah. It's
sound?
your perception. Do you think it's about perception, isn't it? And
Yeah,
mood. I mean, the problem, yeah, the difficulty with making something, if you want it to last, when that you can't just trust that mood. You see, it's very tricky. That's why it takes so long. I think it took so long to do left field tracks. Because we approached it in many moods. And God knows how we decided to finish things. Actually, in fact, that was one of the problems with the second album. It's we couldn't actually finish them. It was finishing them. It was so hard. It's knowing when something's finished, and without when you haven't got any pressure on you, so much pressure on you. Like you say, first record, maybe we were more fluid with that. Although there were issues afterwards, actually, with editing, where we nearly fucked the whole thing up by taking too much out, I think, on the editing front. But yeah, perception. I mean, we listen, to get that right, you listen I'm sure you know, but I mean, I'm sure it's about listening on many different types of speakers as well, in the car, at home, in the kitchen, somewhere where you're used to comparing things to, shit, a shit speaker. And also we used NS10s in those days, which were very unforgiving speakers. They're not very pleasant. But I mean, if you can get it sounding good on NS10s, in those days, that was the thing that you knew that it would sound good anywhere. And that's what I think. That's what good producers. That's what makes a record have maybe not just longevity, but sound good. Is that thing? God knows what that is. I don't know. Need
Well, the art of a good sound system. That's why I'm a big fan of Floating Points.
Yeah, yeah,
That sound system,
yeah. I haven't heard it. Have you heard it?
I
I've
haven't
only
heard
seen.
it, but I've heard about it, and I've heard
Mm.
it's just absolutely insane. You
Yeah,
know,
but that's what we used to. Yeah, well, we used to carry those systems like that around. I haven't heard it, so I can't judge it.
Mhm.
I can't judge it. I can't comment on it. But I'm sure it is. If people, I know all those guys connected with that scene are, know what they're doing. So I bet it is wicked, and respect for them for doing it. I mean, that is great. And that gives you hope for music when people like that. It makes you feel positive, doesn't it? I mean, I
Yeah,
like
of
that.
course. Yeah, I'm
I'd
the
love
same.
to hear it. I'd love to, and it was yeah, yeah. Where
Yeah,
was it? Where did they demo? Where did they? It was at that Wicked Festival in Loughton. Yeah. Oh yeah. Very recently, isn't it? It's this summer, isn't it? That they demoed.
yeah. I'm one that I love. Again, I'm the child of the '70s, so I used to hear block sound systems, which was great. Just the dingy
Oh yeah.
bits of the Boy Scouts and YMCA clubs.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bringing the
Mobile
sounds.
disco.
Yeah,
Mobile disco.
yeah. It was more than a mobile disco, though. It was a proper sound system I
Yeah.
was hearing, and it just got me hooked from day one. Um, now,
Yeah.
uh, I quickly do want to talk about like
Oh, I'm with you. Do
your
you want
last.
do you
Go
want
ahead.
lights on before you go on? And I can edit this out. Do you want to put me any light on because would it
Yeah,
ruin it? Because I look like I'm in darkness. Am I okay? Because
yeah.
it's suddenly got really dark here.
If you want to put a light on,
I'll put a light and it might help, and you can edit that bit out, can't you? I'm sure you will. See if that helps. Still not, that hasn't made much difference, has it? I said
there you go.
I can put some more light on as well, actually. But I have to bloody do it on my phone. Can you believe it?
Mood
So
light.
modern. I have such a modern household, not only does the cat turn the television on, I bet you haven't had I bet this is a one-off. I bet you've had no one else whose cat has turned the television on.
I can safely say no, I have
There we
not.
go. How
Yeah,
about that? I mean, it's
yeah.
going to really ruin your editing app for later on, isn't it? Here you go.
No.
It's going to mess you up.
Well, one of the good things I have to say about the podcast is I try not edit just because I
Oh
like.
my
I,
God.
I know I just
Oh
like
my God. You should have told me that. Oh God.
I love the flow of things, because
Oh yeah.
you can tell when people edit too much of a video and it just doesn't flow. But
You're not going to
um, talk to you about
keep all the shit in there.
yeah, exactly. I mean, why take it out unless it's just really, really bad? I
Yeah,
just
really
don't.
embarrassing. Yeah.
But yeah,
We
yeah.
haven't got to
No,
it,
we
those
keep
bits.
No,
You
I
better
wouldn't.
stop me soon.
Absolutely. The embarrassing stuff I keep in,
Um,
100%. Oh, come on, TikTok.
don't do it to me.
Ah, so this is not what we do album. I know obviously you're going through cancer
Mm.
at the time. So that must have obviously had because I've read like it didn't have, because some people said it,
Yeah,
melancholy, but
yeah,
to go through that, I've had, quite a few people in my family have cancer, and
right, yeah,
it's just horrendous.
yeah,
Not just on the individual, but the family
yeah,
as well. So going through that for you,
yeah,
did you
yeah.
feel more? Did that help you in any way in making the getting
Yeah,
you
I mean,
through?
you obviously know because you've read. I mean, I, it was, I mean, I look back on it and I kind of went mad initially because I organised an A&R meeting to play people demos the day before I went into hospital, which is completely mental because I had an operation planned because I had bowel cancer and I knew that I knew what the issue was because I'd had a colonoscopy and they knew more or less what the problem was, and I had a growth in my bowel that had to come out. And I suppose I was, I shouldn't have done what I did, but I suddenly felt madly inspired. Not inspired because and Adam wasn't there either that day, and it was me on my own. And I got people in and played them this completely rough demos. And I think in that sense, and got them quite inspired about it and everything, and then collapsed into hospital. I'm sure it was, yeah, it was more or less the last day before I went in. So yeah, I don't know whether what I mean, and then obviously I survived, and the operation was a great success. But and then I went into serious depression. I mean, I nosedived into a depressing, quite a bad depression as a result of knowing that it was like hung on to it, hung on to the staying in control and everything. And then right the way through the period in hospital, I was great and everything. Then I came out and collapsed. And then after that, I think I did take some time out and a little bit. And then we finished the album, and that actually took quite a long time. I don't know if I just think maybe in some way it inspired me to look at life in a different way, at that, and of course you forget that one, you forget that it's funny because you think, oh my God, now I've survived cancer. I'm never going to be back, I'm always going to be a very healthy person. And, and here I am on a vape now, like 5 years later and being a bit, so it does, I mean, I think it definitely maybe, yeah, I think I got strength. I got strength from somewhere. I got something from deep inside me, I think, that pushed me. And then I relied a lot on Adam, and I started to feel better. And I, I'm very pleased with that record. I'm really pleased. I think it was, it's a strong record, really strong record. And so obviously, privately in my quieter moments, I think I had been terrified, obviously, but I'd gone through it, and I managed to create, inspire, out of something, I was inspired in some way, definitely with that feeling of still going on, really, still being there.
It's a tough thing, like I said, I lost my mom through cancer, ovarian cancer, and it was actually a blood clot to the brain. that
Yeah. Oh dear.
to
Yeah. So sorry.
you know
Yeah.
and it's when I was 16, the start of my life, and it's
Yeah.
years to
Yeah.
kind of figure out feelings. But yeah, I always like to know what inspires people when they go through something like that, and obviously being an artist as well, how it affects everything.
Mm,
Because it's got to be, you've also got when you do lose people through cancer and you have it and then you survive, there's that survivor syndrome as well.
there is.
That you're just like, why did I survive and
Yeah. Yeah.
why did
Yeah.
they not? You know, it's just
Yeah.
it's one of those
Yeah.
when it's your time, it's
Yeah.
time. We
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
we don't know what's coming
Yeah.
tomorrow, and
Mm,
I know you've got so much going on. I don't even know how like you really
mm.
concentrate with the music. I know your partner with the MS. Uh,
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah. No,
you've
Tanya.
got to be that massive support system. I'm
Yeah.
sure she was for you as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I actually did. She didn't know me at that period. I mean, but yeah, I mean, she's an extraordinary person, Tanya, and that we're she has MS, and I think I I suppose maybe, but I mean, my experience of serious illness and stuff. I understand what it feels like to have pain, to live with pain. And she's so, she's so sort of positive, in a healthy way. She's not unrealistically positive. She's not, and she just gets on with life, in such a sort of wonderful way. She deserves the opportunity. And I feel that she really, really deserves an opportunity to try and live the best life she can. And the Just Giving page that we've set up for her, and the gig that we're doing on the 24th of October as a plug, for her, for Dance for Tan, is basically to raise money for her to have a very special procedure, in Mexico, which is stem cell treatment. And she's a therapist, and she works with finding housing for ex-prisoners. She's such a sort of a good person. And I very, when we thought about when we're talking, we've always been talking about this procedure, HSS, HSCT stem cell treatment. It is, and she's got foot draw. She's got all these, her body is deteriorating, which is, I mean, it's harsh. MS is a very harsh neurological thing that so many people have to. And this treatment, okay, this treatment is such an opportunity to set her body back to a place that it should be available on the NHS. And if it was available to people who had MS when they first got it, in the long run, the NHS would save money if they were to give people this stem cell treatment, because it's I know it's still, there are arguments about it. People argue about it, but I mean, the research we've done, the people we've talked to have had it and have gone to this place in Mexico. We shouldn't really have to be doing this. She can't get it on the NH. She can't get it because she's not bad enough, and she's not sick enough, technically, although she's perfect for it. Oh, it's a very complex thing. So yeah, I mean, yes, it's like, I'm doing a lot of stuff, and but that that's I've just literally this afternoon been spending talking about that, about our ticket pricing and how we can get people to come and how we want people to be at this gig. And but we understand times are hard, Finances, it's tough at the moment. People don't have the money for much, because our system is so fucked. You know, we're the world is in a bad place, and people are struggling with the bare essentials of life. So, it's a lot to ask people to do, but people have been so generous, and it helps because it's going to help massively. This her just giving, and I'm happy. Just I mean I'm proud to be part of it because it's been such a positive thing. That getting people together for fundraising is good. Brings out the best in people, doesn't it? I think. You know.
Yeah, 100% it does. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for asking me about that. It's very, because
Well,
it's, I think, an opportunity to talk about it very often, and it's very difficult because, obviously people get Leftfield. He's a millionaire, like which I'm not. So, you should be, what's that? But it's a big outlay.
again, that's why I do these episodes, Neil, is because, if you have a cause, I like to talk about that. I like to, you know, like I said at the beginning, it's not just about the music, it's about life as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
We
yeah. No, I
all,
appreciate it.
we all live in this crazy world, and it is crazy at the moment. Like, it just seems there's so much hatred going on. Like,
Oh my God, yeah, yeah,
you turn the telly on, whether it's the UK or in the US,
yeah,
it's going
yeah.
down the shitter, and
I mean, yeah.
it,
I
it,
mean,
there's
I mean,
good in
what?
this world. Don't get me wrong. There's positive
I mean,
people in this world, but when you turn on the news, it's just bad news after bad news after
I
bad
know.
news, and
I mean,
I keep in
I
my own
know.
bubble, and I hate to say that, but
I know.
I have a young family,
Do.
and I try and take care of them.
That's all.
My
Often
mates,
that's all we can do, isn't it?
yeah,
That's all
and
we can do. Look after our loved ones, because yeah, when you look outside the door and you can't have this attitude. I mean, there was a march in London on Saturday with 100,000 fascists. I mean, who'd ever have thought? But I mean, actually, I'm not surprised because you know people are corrupted by false information and simplistic arguments, and it's very sad.
well, it's easy to
Sad.
blame somebody
You
else.
need,
Easy,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's what these
yeah,
people
yeah,
are doing.
yeah,
They're blaming immigrants. They're blaming, this or that.
yeah,
But take a look at yourself in the mirror. Like,
exactly.
what do you?
It's a, it's a ridiculous thing. I mean, you know, I mean, we are a nation of immigrants.
Yeah, yeah. We just live in a absolutely like wild world. I mean, I always end the show by just saying, just take care of one another because I mean
Yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and
That's the important thing.
just enough of this hatred. I just
Yeah, I
can't.
know, I know. I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. It does us damage. Hating, it does you so much damage. Be empathetic. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes.
You don't
The
have
way,
well, the whole thing
I
is
mean,
it's like, you don't have to like what that other person said. But like I think the word hate is a very strong word. Uh,
yeah, I agree.
and I tell me kids
Yeah,
not to say it. I try and, bring them up
yeah, yeah,
a way
yeah.
to respect people.
You have to try and think of a way of respecting even the people you don't like.
Yeah.
I really do think that. And, uh, but, oh God,
What's the old
tough at
saying?
the moment.
Kill 'em with kindness, basically for me. Um, last
Yes.
last question. Let's get back to music real quick.
Okay.
Any new left field coming up?
There will be, but I'm just
Oh,
turning to it. So not immediately. Not immediately. There's nothing. Yeah, there might be something. Yeah. I mean, there are things brewing in the left field, yeah, in the cooking department. in the sort of like yeah, there's stuff brewing, but nothing I can steer you to now or your listeners to at the moment. But things are afoot.
Well, I mean that's
Well,
better than nothing, right? That dip your toe in the left field pool. But Neil, it's been like I said, it's been an honor, mate. I've listened
yeah.
to music for over 30 years, and that's telling my age as well. You know,
Well, it's been an honor for me talking to you. It's been an honor. Thank you, and I appreciate that. But it's also been an honor for me to sit here and be given the space to talk to you. So, likewise, absolute pleasure. Lovely way to spend an evening. And thank you for inviting me.
oh bless, and I do want to say thanks to Dave, Patton
You
Percent,
know,
and I'll
Dave,
tell you what.
I love Dave.
Um,
Dave is one of my favorite people.
He's so down to earth, but he's such an amazing musician. I
He is
mean,
amazing.
the album is, and I told him that's one of my favorite albums of this year. It is
Yeah,
absolutely like
yeah.
from the whole. Just there's no fillers.
No,
That's how like perceive in my head an album. Don't put fillers in just to fill.
no.
Put proper songs.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
he goes from different genres, like and the one with Janelle.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like I'm hopefully going to have her on soon, because she's a great artist herself. But yeah,
Yeah.
Dave, and it always cracks me up. He told me the story of like he was introduced on radio as Dave from Birmingham. So I
He
always
loves
have
that,
a
doesn't
look.
he? He
Yeah,
told
I
me
always
that as
have.
well.
Yeah. I was like, you need to just change your name, not Pattern Perception, just Dave from Birmingham. You'll probably get more followers that way.
Yeah. I saw him at the weekend to end. I know we should. I saw him at Mucky. I saw a picture of him. He sent me a picture of him. He sent me a video the day after I left, and he had a fake nose on. You've got to see the picture. He's awesome. He's about that long. He had his fake nose on, just wandering around, like.
As you do.
Love him. But he is a brilliant. Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, yeah, he's really very, very special.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I
Steve.
think there's big things gonna
I
happen.
think so as well.
Yeah, if he just keeps putting stuff out like he has, it's just he's on the right label as well. Steve Mack and Carl Loben's
Yeah, yeah.
Welsh as well label. They just seem to take care of him, and they
I think he's well appreciated. Yeah,
Mhm.
they're.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve is awesome. I mean, I love Steve and Carl as well. Yeah, I mean, Steve's a great. Yeah, he's a bloody brilliant producer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good mentor too. I've had Steve on, and just again, it's like
he's a
talking to
special
me.
person.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
been
he
there, done
is. He
that.
is. He's a lovely guy. I mean, yeah. He's doing a lot, and a lot of charity stuff as well. Steve does, doesn't he?
Yeah, last night a DJ saved my life, which is brilliant as well. But Neil, again, thank you so much. You can check Neil's stuff out at leftfieldmusic.com. Bandcamp is always good because the money goes to the artist, which is supposed to be that way. For the love of God, Spotify. All right, enough of that because that's a, that's
Don't
a,
let me go in.
that's another episode.
No, it's another
Another
episode.
rant. Yeah. But as I always say, please go check out new music, but please go check out older music. You might find something that you absolutely fall in love with that's 30, 35 years old. And as I always leave you, I say, please take care of one another, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.